It's a very silly thing that we're doing. I always say about that, it's before every match, I always say how silly this is what we're doing. Emotionally, you hear them. It doesn't matter what venue you're in. From my experience, you always hear them, hear the crowd, just out there for everyone else's match. God forbid you're first, you still hear them chanting for who's announcing and chanting for, you know, just hearing the matches that are coming up. So it's really easy to mentally get there that way.
Why did you choose to compete in this year's tournament?
Why did I, this one's in Adelaide, baby. You have to represent the set. You have to represent the hometown.
I mean, what's the team name called?
Adelaide Ultraviolence, baby.
You're teaming with Michael.
One big man, Michael Weaver, Heavyset Violence.
My name is Michael Weaver. I'm known worldwide as Heavyset Violence Michael Weaver. I've been a professional wrestler since 2009, and I've been doing death matches regularly for the last 3 years.
Why did you choose to compete in this year's D&D tournament?
I don't think I really had a choice. As I said, there are 3 SA wrestlers in South Australia that are willing to do death matches. 2 of those are now in their very first tournament. I've now competed in 6 tournaments around the world. 3 in Melbourne, 1 in New Zealand, and 1 in Japan. So, actually, I think it's more than that. Dream 3, Dream 4, Dream 5, and Tag Team Dream. So yeah, I've competed in 6 tournaments. We're running an SA. I was going to have to compete in it regardless, unless injury stopped me. I was going to be competing.
Who's your tag team partner for this year's tournament?
I'm tagging with Brett Santorini, the Prince of Adelaide Ultraviolence. I'm the King of Adelaide Ultraviolence, and we are competing as Adelaide Ultraviolence.
Do you have any history with your tag partner?
Yeah, I've known Brett for a long time. I trained him when he first started. He's been wrestling 8 years. Recently, we've competed a few times in singles matches, and I think there's a few more probably coming up in the near future as well. But Brett and I know each other pretty well. We also had a match at No Breaks recently in our first death match together, which didn't quite go the way we wanted it to, with Brett get hurt pretty early. So the idea is now we're going to have to step ourselves up and really push hard to bring those championships back to South Australia.
Why did you choose to compete in this year's tournament?
I want to prove myself that I can do this deathmatch stuff. You know, I'm more than just a pretty face.
Love it.
Headshots available.
Perfect.
I just know how to fuck up people, and it's fun. I enjoy it. And so fucking up people surrounded by everyone else who's like, that's the dream. Let's fuck up everyone. Death rules everything around.
My name is Joel Bateman. I am a mild-mannered public servant by day. I am also Leo's dad. And by night, I am the smash hit Joel Bateman, an Australian deathmatch wrestler. I didn't necessarily know if it was my decision. Michael Weaver is obviously a massive proponent and ambassador for Adelaide wrestling all over Australia and all over the world. He is very proudly South Australian. But through his passion, very much like my passion in Melbourne, you start to see more wrestlers come on board and follow him. Like obviously we've seen Brett Santorini do really cool things, and then obviously Corvidae stepping up and wants to go harder every time. Twisted J can be dragged kicking and screaming through death matches as well. And then there are other, obviously, Adelaide guys who don't work for DMDU, but who do quite a lot of hardcore in deathmatch. So it wasn't a choice. It was like we kind of had to. Like, we've given Adelaide a lot already. We bought them ICW. We bought them Abdullah Kobayashi. We bought DMDU here. Neither. I don't find deathmatch wrestling difficult. I find normal wrestling difficult. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say physical. But just at this point in my life and this point in my career, like, I'll never be 100% again. I bought a ticket to a lot of these rides a long time ago. So things like CTE and concussions and stuff. I'd had 6 concussions before we knew what CTE was. So at this point in my career, I have to be careful of my head. Like, my knees are not in great shape. My back is not in great shape. I've had surgeries on my shoulder. So my body is never going to be what it was when I was 100% healthy. Even if I dedicate my life to going to the gym and eating properly and stop drinking beer and all of that stuff, like, I'm never going to be that guy again. What deathmatch wrestling allows me to do, outside of the fact that I love it and I love the art form, I love doing it, but deathmatch wrestling can be smoke and mirrors, and deathmatch wrestling can be used to compensate for limitations. So, for example, like, if I go and do a normal match, a normal 15-minute wrestling match, I feel far more beat up going and doing that than I do going and doing a 15-20-minute death match. Because I'm good at death matches, but there are things I can do in death matches to limit the amount of, I guess, structural damage I do to my body. I can always grow, again, skin's only skin, a scar's only a scar. I ain't getting any better looking. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit if I've got, like, gusset holes all over my head, or my back's all carved up, or my arms are all carved up, or whatever. I don't care. Like, 1, I think the scars are cool. 2, I'd rather that than taking 5 German suplexes on the back of my neck and not being able to turn my head for a week. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's, I guess, where the physical side of it comes.
What's the emotional aftermath after a brutal match?
The come down is brutal. And that is one of the hardest parts of deathmatch. So we were talking about that adrenaline rush and how you harness your adrenaline. Adrenaline is a drug. It is a hormone that sits in all of us. That's how parents can lift, cars off crushed children and stuff like that. That's how you run into a burning building. Your adrenaline. It is your fight or flight. It comes from when we were cavemen. It's there to protect us, keep us alive. The crash from that, coming down off an adrenaline high, is called an adrenaline dump. They are brutal. It is depressing and it is emotional. So after most big death matches, at some point, I will cry, because it is letting all of that fight or flight, all of that hyper awareness and manicness go. And it is an adrenaline dump. And again, I have like a ritual post-death match, and that's usually part of it, to be honest. Like, I tend to sit down, have a beer, have a shower, and like, my shower is a complete ritual, because that hurts like hell. And then I'll scroll through like the clips of the match and stuff, but yeah, usually end up in tears. Like, just go, you let out a breath you didn't know you were holding, and you've been holding it for like 8 hours. And you just have a little weepy, but that's the hardest part of the come down.
Why is this worth sacrificing your body for?
Nothing worth having comes easy, to be completely honest. You feel like you gotta work for something. But I got into wrestling, again, like, I took my first bump at 11. And again, talking about buying tickets to the ride, before you know what the ride was, if I had my time over, I probably would have started wrestling at 16, because my spine hadn't fully developed. My body hadn't fully grown. So I have issues with my knees, my neck, my back, from wrestling for 5 years on a spine that's still developing. But I'd already made those sacrifices for this, because this is all I've ever wanted to do. Some people want to grow up and be an astronaut or a firefighter, or a marine biologist. All I ever wanted to do was be a hardcore wrestler, deathmatch wrestler. And I get to do it. And it's important for me to do it, because I can tell you that, and I can tell Sam that, and I can tell Ella that. if you want to do something, you can do it. Because I wanted to do something and I get to do it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, when I get to the end of whether it's my career or my life, like, I want to have something to show for it. I don't want to just be, oh yeah, that guy, he lived, he died. Like, you die twice. You die when you die, and you die when people stop talking about it. I don't think people stop talking about it. Because that's what's worth sacrificing my body for.
How much trust do you need with your opponent during weapon spots?
Unparalleled. All of it. In a lot of the other documentaries that I've done, the best way I compare deathmatch wrestling is to the kink community and the BDSM community, because it is very physical, painful things that we're doing to one another, but there is such an element of trust that isn't going to be abused. I'm giving you my body, I'm giving you my life. I know this isn't going to feel great, but I need you to protect me. I need you to take care of me. If I can't trust you to take care of me, then we have a problem. And we can't do this. Because, like I said, if you hesitate in a normal match, you go to hospital. I hesitate in a death match, I could die.
We are at DMDU Tag Team Dream. It is all the way over there. The doors have opened. How do you feel?
I feel good. I'm scared.
Why?
I'm gonna get glass thrown at me.
It's definitely... It is depending on what type of stuff you're doing. So I find it physically easier than regular professional wrestling, but mentally it's obviously much, much harder because you've got a lot of weapons and there's a much higher, greater risk. So by default, it's much harder mentally than it is physically. But the big one is like, if once you get to a point where you're confident in your abilities, you're able to circumnavigate the risk, and you have trust in who you're working with, mentally they can be pretty easy as well. Like, it does not necessarily crazy difficult. For example, this weekend I did syringes for the first time. I had a syringe here and a syringe through my eyebrow. The guy I was working with, Callan, is somebody I've known for a very long time in professional wrestling. I've wrestled him before in regular matches, not in death. So I had the trust in him. I needed to deal with the risk of the needles. I had a look at the needles and the syringes. I saw them. They were thin needles. I knew they would be okay. And I trusted Callan. So in that moment, as much as I'm not one that's particularly fan of getting needles and injections, I knew that he would take care of me, and I was able to get through it with no problems.
What emotions do you feel before a match?
Depends on the match. Recently, I've been getting quite nervous, but that would always depend on the expectations I put on myself as well as the expectations of the match. Nerves are a big one, especially if I'm doing a weapon that's new. I just try and keep myself calm and stable and breathe through it, but nerves are a big one. Occasionally I'll feel anxious, but generally I haven't felt like that in a long time. Confident sometimes, depending on what it is. Relaxed if I'm really confident or really comfortable. There's a few things, but like the big emotion that you got to prepare yourself for is nerves.
Why is this worth sacrificing your body for?
Short reason, it's fun. Long reason, legacy. It's a hard one to put a finger on. The reason I do it is because I love it. It's same as professional wrestling. Professional wrestling will put my body on the line longer than death matches will. regular mainstream professional wrestling puts more of a strain on my hips and my shoulders and my back than deathmatch does. Deathmatch just has a higher risk due to the weapons involved. Deathmatch wrestling has prolonged my career. I would have had to retire probably 2 years ago if I was just doing mainstream wrestling because my body was not able to keep up. But a big part of this is knowing that, one, I'm the best in the state at something. There's nobody in this state that can say they're a better deathmatch wrestler than me, and that's something I like. I have pride in. I also don't want to be the guy that when Adelaide deathmatch wrestling ends when I retire. I want to set up the next generation to be able to continue to perform and persevere and develop.
Anticipation worse than the actual pain?
Yeah, 100%, almost 99% of the time. There are very few things I've ever experienced where I'm going, oh, that was much worse than I expected.
Have you ever seen a weapon backstage and immediately thought that you don't want to do this?
Yes. There's one in my carport. There is a small piece of wood that is has tech screws all screwed through it. They're like that long and grotesquely nasty looking. Those I've always been very much a no. I saw on the weekend a bat, like a baseball bat covered in knives, which I was just like, oh, that's gross. Razor boards are another one where I'm like, oh, I really don't like the idea of razor boards. So many times I've seen stuff where I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Is there a responsibility to make weapon spots memorable instead of repetitive?
Yes. Yeah, I would say there definitely is. I think the goal, I don't think it's a responsibility. I think it's a goal. I think the goal is to make them memorable. But there is also a way that you can do things repetitively that still leave a lasting image. One that people say is overdone is the trade tubes. You hit me, I hit you, you hit me, I hit you. Reason it's overdone is because it always gets a reaction, but there is ways to go around it and build the anticipation, you build the elements, and it's such, light tubes are very sensory. They make a noise when they break. There's the gas and dust in them that sprays when they explode. It's you can see it, you can feel it, you can hear it, you can taste it, you can smell it. So it's one of those ones like there's a reason why it's done repeatedly, is because it has an element that the fans can 100% get behind. So I think the goal is to make it memorable, but there is times when they do need to be repetitive.
Yeah, after the first round, I am feeling electric. I've had just 5 thumbtacks either fall out or take it out of my head. I've got something. I'm like, no, that just feels tight. Never mind. I feel pretty good though. I'm feeling. Oh, that's red. I don't remember why. Is there any other experiment? Either way, I've come out of the best so far, I think.
How are you feeling after first round?
Yeah, not too bad. First round went alright. Got the win, that's the important thing. Got a little bit of colour. A little bit of gloss, I don't even know.
Love that.
We've got 2 more to go. And then I'll be the Kings of New York.
Love that. Round 2, how are you feeling?
Round 2, I've bled a little bit more. I've got some cuts on my shins. I kept getting hit in the elbow. Apparently it's bruising up. I've got a little bit more red on me.
Hold on, I'm gonna flip this around.
Oh, something happened in my back, but it's behind me, so I can't really see it.
Like half of it is clean.
It doesn't count because I can't see it, right?
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Half of it's bloody, and the other half's not. Really 50-50.
How are you feeling?
Feel pretty good. I've got 1 more to go. Got a bit more blood on this one. It's all like congealed over my eye, but I'm doing alright.
better than before. I won Tag Team Dream 2.
How you feeling?
I feel good. I did it. This means from on out, the fact that we're able to bring a deathmatch to South Australia, to bring a tournament to South Australia, whether to represent it as a South Australian, I cannot express how much this means to me. The amount of sweat, tears, and stress to get this to happen. Me.
Deathmatch Down Under done. How do you feel?
I'm so dead.
Had glass flying at every orifice of our bodies.
Yeah.
What's your favourite part of the night?
Again, I think it's the glass being thrown at me while I'm on floor cam. Bit scary because you got to cover your whole entire skin.
You didn't put your hood up.
I didn't put my hood up. I put my hood up for one of them, but it just kept falling down. And it's so hot as well, so it's really hard to actually keep it up.
Yeah.
The whole back was sweaty. I put my arm underneath the shirt and it was drenched. Completely drenched. I need to go home. I need to go have a shower. I feel disgusting. It was a good night. My hair's a mess.
We're as passionate as anybody else, both mainstream and deathmatch. There is a lot more money in deathmatch wrestling internationally, but in Australia, this is a part-time job. I have a full-time job. I work in an office, but nothing makes me more passionate or more excited about going and doing this tournament on the weekend or the shows that I had just done, just because we're in Australia and we can't do it full-time and make a full-time wage out of professional wrestling and deathmatch wrestling. Doesn't mean we aren't as crazy or as twisted or as passionate as anybody else.
It is easy to judge what we do from a distance. If all you see is Instagram reels and TikTok clips, you are not getting the full picture of what we do as deathmatch wrestling as a genre, regardless of if it's Deathmatch Down Under or any other wrestling promotion in the world. What you lose is the context, and the context is the community that we've built. The context is the family that we have, and the love and the support and the camaraderie that I've only found in deathmatch wrestling. And it comes back to when I was talking about the trust and the care and compassion that you have for your opponent. That radiates out to your friends, your peers, and our fans. That is what you're missing. And I think that if more people came to these shows and felt that energy and that vibe, I think deathmatch wrestling would be looked at in a very different way. That's what I think people need to experience about deathmatch wrestling in Australia and the world. Understand that pro wrestling is a nerdy little subculture, and then hardcore wrestling is a subculture of that, and deathmatch wrestling is a subculture of that. We all like the same thing. If you're down with us, we don't care who you are. You could be black, white, green, yellow, gay, straight. Who gives a shit? If you're down with us, then we treat you like family. And that care and culture and community is only available in deathmatch wrestling. That's what I think people need to know and experience.
And you know what you get? You know what you get now? You get to see Seth Reedy finally open this Coke No Sugar. Oh, yeah. Isn't that good? Oh, look at that. The money shot. It's a boy.
Beauty.
I'm a Pepsi Max guy.